What is going on, guys? My name is Sean Barnard, and today I'm here with MDBetting.com, here to give you a breakdown on review of the latest sportsbook to enter the marketplace, ESPN Bets. It is currently legalized in 17 states, with Maryland being one of them, and I'm here with MD Betting to give you the breakdown on what to expect, what you need to know, and the overall process for what to expect of the sportsbook. Now, before I dive fully into it, I would like to make sure you guys are aware that we do have some similar content to this available on the website in a written form content. This goes a little bit more in depth than I will today. I kind of want to get you guys with the basics of how things look, how the process is, and all of that. But if you've got any specific questions, you can refer to this article on mdbetting.com, which gives you a little bit more of what you need to know, and make sure that you can capitalize on the best possible promotions as well, which is something that I'm going to circle back to. So you can check that out below. But as I mentioned, I do want to get into the overall discussion today. So let's begin by taking a look at the ESPN bets as a whole. The first thing that I do want to note here is here's a look at the interface. That mint color that you can see with that bright 1,000 and get 200 in those promotion sections. That's what you can expect from the interface as of the overall app and what things look like there. That you guys might be familiar with Barstool Sportsbook in the past. That Penn Entertainment, which was previously partnered with Barstool, pulled out of that deal and is now partnered with ESPN. And the reason that I do bring that up is that if you do have a Barstool Sportsbook account, that is notable in this process, and your same login, same credentials, and a lot of factors can carry right over. So just make sure that you are aware of that. And there is some customer support to deal with it if you have any complications with that. But that is something to keep in mind here. Now, the first thing you're going to do when you get to this stage is go to the sign up process. That brings you to this screen. You go to get started. You're going to have to enter an email, phone number, username, password, the promo code. And there is a point that I do want to make sure that once again, you should be checking out mdbetting.com to make sure you get the best possible promo codes. That is the best way to coat your account with some extra funds. Make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck, minimizing your risk while maximizing your potential earnings, and getting the best promotions and getting those funds in your account is the best way to make sure that that is the best way there. So make sure that you guys are taking advantage of that. ESPN Bet's rolling out some really lucrative promotions at its launch point here, getting a ton of numbers and a ton of people signing up. So make sure you get on board before it is too late and take advantage of that. And as I mentioned, MD Betting will get you hooked up right from the start here. So now that I am logged in on the screen here, I do want to take a look at a more basic process. And let's begin by placing a wager, taking you through that. We're going to go through the NFL section here at the point of this point of the time that I'm recording before the Monday night matchup between the Eagles and Chiefs. So you see the Eagles 2.5 point favorites there. You can scroll down, see the Packers, the Lions, all the spreads for the Thanksgiving slate as well as the rest of the week here. But it is not limited to just that. But if you want to dive into the future section, for example, the Baltimore Ravens looking like a real threat in the AFC, which continues to get weaker and weaker following the Joe Burrow injury. So let's begin by taking a look at that. If I want to click on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, which I do believe is on the table, you click this, place a wager. If I want to put $20 down for a $180 potential payout, you just click the place bet button there, and it is as simple as that. But it's not just limited to Super Bowl winners. That maybe you still feel nervous about them getting past the Chiefs, but you do think, or getting past the NFC, but you feel good about them being able to beat the Chiefs. You click on this plus 375 for them to win the AFC. What about a $25 wager there? And that leads to a potential payout of 118 and 75. So if you want to maybe dive into a season specials, take a look at to reach the AFC Championship game, maybe you don't have confidence in them beating the Chiefs, you can take them at plus 150 there. Or if you want to slide over to the player features, Lamar Jackson co-favorites with Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes for the regular season MVP. That's something that I think has a ton of great value there. You want to put a 25 on that. That leads to a potential payout of $100 there. So anything that you could possibly want. Now, to dive back to the game specifically in the NFL, let's take a look at this slate here. And as we mentioned, that the Ravens are playing some good football, but let's take a look, and I want to take you through the parlay process here. So let's pick a couple of these games just to kind of go through. We're going to begin with how about the Colts and Buccaneers? The Colts are 2 point favorites in this matchup. I like that number. So we're going to click that Colts spread here. We're going to dive through. How about Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh? I can't see a lot of points being scored in there. How about the under of 34.5 there? And then Jets versus Dolphins. Feels like the Jets are due to have another breakout performance here. We're kind of held in check by the Raiders, so I like that number. So I add all those, and instead of, you can still take them each individually, but this creates a parlay right for you in the process. So those three bets there, which is the Dolphins minus 8.5, the under 34.5 in the Steelers and Bengals, and then the -2 in favor of the Colts. That comes out to a plus 596 odds on the parlay. So if I was able to put 15 on that there, that leads to a potential payout of 104.37 there. So that is the parlay process there that you don't have to do anything in particular, that you simply add and it calculates it right for you. But it is not just limited to NFL. That we want to slide back. I'm going to look at the left side of the screen here. One of the factors I like is it breaks it down in a couple of different ways here. Is number one, it has their featured bets, which includes their boost, the NFL, college football, NBA, NCAA basketball, everything else that is pretty popular and that they want to promote heavily. You scroll down a little farther, and there's all the options for sports, whether it be baseball, basketball, boxing, cricket, a ton of options. As things currently stand on ESPN Bets, there's 17 available sports, as well as some more unique bets when it comes to Academy Awards and things like that that are offered on the site. But let's switch over to the NBA and look at the basketball side of things here. Very similar way it's constructed. And as you can see, there are some promotions and odds boost bets that are promoted at the start here, whether it be something like Stephen Curry to make over 6.5 3-pointers and Golden State Warriors to win by 8+ points. That's plus 500 odds there. I think that's a little bit of a far reach there, but you never know with Steph Curry for sure. But take a look at some of the matchups: the Bucks versus Wizards, 9.5-point spread there. Celtics, Hornets, Nuggets, Pistons, Kings, Pelicans, everything you need. And in the same process here, that we have some features, some player features, whether it is to win the championship. The Celtics currently the favorites at plus 360. Denver Nuggets right behind them at plus 425. There's a player feature that you want to get involved in. You can jump on regular season MVP, rookie of the year, any of these that you might want to get involved in the same exact process here. And very cool how those are offered. And another kind of cool way to wager, which I like, is just yes or no to make the playoffs. You can go through each of these lines here. For example, the Brooklyn Nets to make the playoffs at plus 150. I think that's an intriguing line there, that they're a team that has not played up to their potential yet. Mikal Bridges, I truly believe, is the real deal. So plenty that is you can kind of dive through and find a way to place a wager there. Another note that I do want to make is live betting, that we know live betting has continued to become more and more important when it comes to the sports gambling experience, that you don't want to be the person that misses out on the action by just not getting a ticket in before kickoff or before the game starts. So with ESPN Bets, this allows you the opportunity to wager on a game after it begins. So in this example, we got 2 college basketball games currently being played. We got Southern Miss and CS Fullerton. We also have Siena and Central Michigan. So let's take a look at this now. Central Michigan leading 50-44 with 7:44 left in the second half here. Let's say I'm really feeling a Siena comeback. That plus 360 on the money line. I like it. Let's click that in there. And the same exact process that you do to place a wager, simply bet as if it was a straight up wager. And this would lead to a $15 bet to win 51. You can see the odds changing already, or to win 66. I'm sorry. That is the biggest thing about live betting, is you do have to be on your toes. The odds are constantly changing. You got to make sure you get in at the right time and fit it in there. So it's a little more of a on your toes experience, but the same exact process. And if I was wanting to create a parlay between these two games, let's say I'm going to go with the over of Southern Miss and CS Fullerton, accept the changes there, and boom, those two in a parlay. And as you can see, the lines are moving all over a little bit as these games are currently going. Just took away that. So that is the tough part. But let's go get a little wild and take the 2 money lines here. And as you can see, the lines are constantly changing. So that is the biggest disadvantage with live betting, is sometimes you have to be really quick with the fingers, but it is the same process as placing a wager there, and that this will still work once it eventually settles in and gets together. As the flow of the game is constantly going, it does make life difficult there. But the other thing that I want to point out is you can see with the promotions here that ESPN is doing a very nice job and clearly focused on kind of promoting their personalities and giving you the full sports gambling experience from start to finish. That you can watch these guys speak about the games on TV, then flip it over to your mobile phone and either tail or fade these guys. That you can hear Scott Van Pelt's pick for the Sunday night game and then bet on it yourself on your mobile device. So that is something that they're very much promoting, that they have a ton of options coming up as far as bets promoted by specific personalities on ESPN. So that is something to keep in mind as a whole. And as I mentioned, the promotions are very lucrative to take advantage of at this point. The last point before I go into my overall review is just how to deposit money. That there is a wide variety of ways that you can get money into your ESPN Bets account, whether it be through online banking, debit card, PayPal, VIP preferred, Skrill, credit card, cash to the casino, or a wire transfer. Any of these ways are acceptable on the ESPN Bets app. It is a very diverse way, or diverse options for how to get money in, which I think is a huge point in its favor. So make sure that you do take advantage of that, and that it is a pretty seamless process. There's a $10 minimum deposit for the site as a whole, but they do have plenty of options for how to get that money in to make sure it is available for others. So as a whole, I would recommend the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app. I think it is very effective and an industry changer in the future. I think there's a ton of twists and turns that are still to come, that this is very much the baseline of ESPN Bets, but they're doing a nice job of rolling things out, providing positive promotions, and overall the betting experience has been really positive on the app as a whole. So just to give my full breakdown, the welcome bonus, I'm going to give a 5 out of 5 on the review. That's some really lucrative offers and options that are available on the table right now. Will be interesting to see how much that changes as they kind of become more established. This is very clearly their launch point. So far, their numbers exceeding expectations. So you do not want to miss out on that. And once again, make sure to check out mdbetting.com, the link in this description, to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck when you're going through the sign up process as a whole. Number two, the payment options. I'll give a 4 out of 5 here, that I think the payment options at ESPN Bet are parallel to other Maryland book, but we expect there to be further developments. I'm honestly pretty happy as this continues to evolve. I think there's going to be more and more, but things like Skrill are not available on every sports book. So the fact that it is an option for some users, I think, is very appealing. Venmo as well, I can speak to. That works effectively for getting money in. So not a lot of good stuff with the payment options. I would put it a little more advanced than some of its competitors. The sportsbook app as a whole, we'll give a 5 out of 5. It is still pretty new. I will say I do believe the mobile app functions a little bit better than the desktop. This video specifically, I did use the desktop to kind of take you guys through this. I found it a little bit easier to navigate on my phone and mobile device as far as seeing where the layout is, where things are, and all of those things. But the desktop's still very effective and does the job. So important that both those options are available there. The app's very impressive, a nice stylish display. I do like the overall layout. That little mint color, I think, is something that they're going to continue to reinforce and be a part of their staple as we look down the line. Next, I'll move to variety and features. I'll give a 4 out of 5 there. A pretty nice selection as far as overall sports to bet on and wagers to be able to place. 17 total sports you can bet on the ESPN Bet app at this time. That is expected to expand and evolve as the sportsbook continues on, but I still think a nice variety in features and not too much limited at this point in time. So they really did lay out the red carpet and get everything established in the 17 states where it is legal already. And lastly, to customer support, I'll give a 4 out of 5 here. At this point in time, that it is just by phone or email that there are the customer support options. So it would be nice if there was a little bit of a live chat option. I know they were overloaded through the first couple days with all these signups, but they did a nice job of handling it. I can speak, I personally did have a little bit of an issue in the creation of my account due to converting it from the Barstool Sports back to the ESPN Bets app with my login and making sure I could still take advantage of the promotion. Overall, all my goals were accomplished, that I was able to do that. It was answered in a timely manner, that despite the screen popping up and them saying there's 300 people in front of me waiting, they got through it really quickly. I wasn't waiting around forever, and my overall what I desired was accomplished. So I do give ESPN Bets credit for that, and I would recommend you guys getting involved from them as a sportsbook option. That I think there's too much to pass on when it comes to the available promotions, the overall functionality of the app, and just what the future of this app has in store. So I would recommend ESPN Bets. I do think this is a potential industry changer down the line. I'm really intrigued to see how they shape things and how they connect things through their coverage as a whole when we talk about games being played on ESPN and things like that. So a lot to unpack with ESPN Bets, but this is something that you do want to get involved in. Appreciate you guys for tuning in this video. Once again, if you have any other questions, click the link in the description to check out mdbetting.com. Best of luck with all your plays in the future and for using ESPN Bets if you choose to do so.